My heart didn't just die, it was murdered.
Oh boy, we're off to a bad start. Okay, let's try this again from the top.
Sometimes some of my favorite games are solidified in my mind more by the emotional peaks of the story than actual gameplay mechanics or adventure. Without a doubt, it's the heartbreaking moments that leave the biggest impression. Today we're going to look at 10 times video games ripped out my heart and proceeded to throw it on a grill to feed to the world. Like pretty much all of my list videos, this is not a top 10. This is just a list of 10 moments. I'm also only giving myself 10 slots, so don't be mad if your 20 choices aren't represented in these 10. 99.99% of the saddest moments in gaming cannot be represented with only 10 slots. Given the nature of this list video, this also comes with a huge spoiler warning. If a game pops up that you don't want spoiled, pay attention to this graphic here at the bottom, as it will tell you what chunk of time that game occupies in the video, so you can click ahead if you desire. With that, let's get into this. Number 10. Tales of Berseria. The Tales of franchise is no stranger to heartbreak, but Tales of Berseria's big moment to me is unique among the series. Throughout the greater portion of the game, our main character Velvet is on a mission to seek revenge on the man who killed her younger brother. This burning hatred becomes her motivation, and anchors us as the player to her as a character. We see through her eyes, we feel her motivations, we believe to some extent in her resolve. Although revenge is a callous path, it's one that we come to at least understand. That is, until it's revealed that her brother yet lives. When her brother is revealed, everything changes. All of her drive and ambition is stripped away. The world as she knew it is turned inside out. All of a sudden, she must grapple with this newfound reality. Everything she believed in was wrong. However, his life is not the cause for celebration she would desire it to be, as he now stands in league with the evil man she believed took his life several years earlier. It's a bitter pill to swallow.
Sister. Go away! Go away! Go away!
Number 9. Ni no Kuni 1. Some games spend hours or even days building up to the big heartbreaking moments, but with Ni no Kuni 1 we hit it almost immediately. We start by playing as Ollie, running some rather basic errands around town, talking to townsfolk and shopkeepers who all seem to know him and his family. It's a real warm small town feeling, where everybody knows and respects each other. However, this small town will be shattered following one stupid decision. Ollie sneaks out late one night to play with a friend, and test a little go-kart him and his friend had built, but it doesn't go according to plan. The vehicle is poorly built. In a moment of terror, it begins falling apart. Ollie veers off course and runs into a river. Ollie's mom, who had left the house to search for him when she found him missing, jumps into the river to save his life. After she pulls Ollie from the river, she collapses in cardiac arrest. Though she's immediately rushed into care, she passes away shortly after with her son at her side. Parental loss at young ages is something that hits me hard. It's a fate that I could never imagine dealing with, and one I would never want to.
Be good now. For me. Mom? Mom? Mom!
Number 8. Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is made of heartbreaking moments, but without a doubt the biggest one comes really close to the end. This moment is, of course, Mithra's sacrifice. To cut through most of the details, the world is in jeopardy, and salvation exists within this final facility. However, the facility is moments away from destruction. If the team heads to the control that can save the world, then they're guaranteed to perish. If the team abandons ship, then the world will follow suit sometime later, but they would at least all die together. Mithra, of course, sees the dilemma early, and orchestrates a plan that she kept secret from the team until the very last minute. Mithra remains behind and puts her team into a situation where saving her is an impossibility.
Mithra? What are you doing there? Where's the control room? Mithra!
It is for the greater good, but that certainly doesn't make it any easier to deal with. After 100 hours of getting to know and love all of these characters, losing even one of them was too much to handle. The anguish is felt strongly here, as Rex does all he can to change her mind, and innocent characters like Poppy are made to deal with things well beyond what it feels like their characters can take. But sometimes reality just needs to be faced, and that's a simple fact. Sometimes you just have to give up.
Rex. Come on! Please! She's right there! Rex. Gramps!
Sometimes a man must know when to let go.
Why? Why?
Do it for her, Rex. Do as she asks.
Number 7, Fatal Frame 3. I'm going to keep this one simple, as it's really quite a simple thing, but Fatal Frame 3 closed on a really emotional note for me, and I think to some extent the music may have had something to do with that. Throughout all of this game you venture through spirit-infested areas, uncovering tragic lore and rituals, all in an attempt to locate and save your boyfriend. Eventually, you do find him. After defeating the final boss, all the spirits of the dead are able to cross to the other side of the threshold that separates life and death. In doing so, they can go on to live a peaceful afterlife. As these souls cross the river en masse, we spot the man we're looking for. After all this time, we're reunited, but it's a brief reunion. Ray pleads with him and apologizes and tells him that she will cross the river into the afterlife with him, as her skin now bears the tattoos that contain the evil of the land. Yu tells Ray that she must go on living. If she dies here, then all memory of him dies with her, and that he will live through her so long as she lives on. He then cleanses her of her tattoos, taking the evil into himself, and sacrificing his afterlife of peace to give her more time to live, as well as a promising life after death. Number 6, The Walking Dead Season 1. It may come as a shock to many of you, but yes, I do play normal games, and this one won't be the last to appear on this list. The Walking Dead Season 1 has one of the most heartbreaking finales, and deservedly ends up on nearly everybody's saddest moments in gaming lists. You play as Lee Everett, a man who prior to the zombie outbreak was on his way to a life of loneliness in a state penitentiary. However, fate took a turn. During the outbreak, he managed to escape from the back of a police cruiser and his destined life of loneliness. Now fate pushes him instead into the company of a young girl named Clementine. Clementine's parents are missing and presumed to be dead. Lee, knowing this, decides the girl needs a guardian, and so he takes in Clementine and watches over her. The two grow as characters throughout the adventure, and teach one another many things. Overall, they enrich each other's lives in a world where other forms of richness are quickly vanishing. That is, until Lee gets attacked by a zombie. He and Clementine are alone, stuck in a room, and he is only moments away from turning into a zombie, where he would surely lose his mind and turn himself on the one he swore to raise and protect. And so it comes down to Clementine, to do what no child should ever have to do, and end the man's life before he turns, to save herself, and to save him from committing an act that the living, breathing human Lee would never stand to be responsible for.
Only one thing you can do. You know that.
I don't know if I can.
You have to shoot me, honey.
Lee, no.
It's okay. It's okay. Megan, first days we met. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do.
Number 5, Rule of Rose. Rule of Rose is a largely, sadly misunderstood game, but even for those that play it and don't quite get the story, there is one moment that is sure to pinch at your heart in a most painful way. Throughout the game, we play as Jennifer, an orphan girl who is largely ostracized from her peers. Most days at the orphanage, she is picked on, bullied, and tortured. It's only in the companion of a canine friend named Brown that she manages to have any sort of comfort at all. But this dog is exactly the reason she's picked on to begin with. Jennifer understands it's not right how she's treated, and she decides to stand by what she believes in. She keeps her dog at the cost of her friends, who in essence aren't being very good friends at all to begin with. When all of the bullying and torture doesn't convince Jennifer to get rid of her dog, the orphans take it up to a new level, and bring us to this game's emotional peak, the death of Brown. Many people can handle the death of human characters, but if there's one thing that rings true time and time again, it's that dogs are good boys. We don't deserve them, and when something bad happens to them, it's never okay.
Your friend is in the bag. It's too late now.
Number 4. Trails in the Sky, first and second chapter. There is one particular moment in Trails in the Sky that bridges parts 1 and parts 2 that really hit me, though I felt it more in part 2. Not all sad moments come at the cost of a life. Sometimes it's at the cost of a friendship or the cost of companionship. At the end of the first part, after being friends for so long, Estelle is looking forward to a life of love and happiness with Joshua. Only Joshua has a different plan in mind. After learning a troubling truth, he feels, in the interest of protecting Estelle and her family, he must abandon her. And so, atop the castle walls, Joshua breaks Estelle's heart and leaves her no recourse. When it really hit me was at the start of second chapter, when Estelle wakes up and remembers the events of the previous night. She searches like mad for any sign of Joshua, but he had vanished without a trace. She is forced to face a new reality, a reality alone where her promising future has been dashed and destroyed, and she was completely helpless to prevent it. The first steps into a new life are heavy ones, where at best one can only trudge forward as a mere reflection of the radiant being they were in the company of their old friends. Number 3. Gears of War 2. Yes, another normal game. I was a huge fan of the original Gears of War trilogy, and always felt its gameplay and story to be built with great care. There's a lot of points in this trilogy that can strike sorrow into the heart, but by far the biggest moment to me came in Gears of War 2. After what seemed like an endless search, we finally close in on the location of Dom's wife, Maria. When the capsule containing her body opens, Maria walks out and into the loving arms of her husband. But not all is as it seems.
Maria. Maria.
Dom.
After a brief embrace,
No.
Marcus pulls Dom back into reality, and the full force of his denial is realized. Dom blames himself for not rescuing her soon enough. Though she yet lives, it's clear she can't live for long, and that every moment left alive is a moment of suffering. Dom struggles initially, not knowing what to do. But the truth is evident, and there's only one path forward. So Dom does the only thing he can to set her free of her pain.
It's Dominic! Marcus, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, man.
No. It's okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Maria. I love you so much.
Number 2, Beyond Two Souls. As much as there is to criticize in David Cage's games, or interactive movies, I always walk away with at least 1 or 2 moments in each game that really resonate with me. For Beyond Two Souls, the biggest moment came in the chapter that you spend homeless. A lot happens here that really opened my eyes to things I don't usually think about. It tackles a lot of simple everyday issues that become much larger when you're deprived and living on the street. But most of all for me, it highlighted just how shitty and sad life is for some people, and how little care so many people just walking by on the street have for the troubles of others. They see only the transients who pester them. They don't see the trouble past the shaking can. There's no way to break this chapter down to a specific moment that left the impression, but just in general, being opened up to this lifestyle through a prolonged period of vicarious experiences, it really makes you feel. To see so much concentrated disrespect and deprivation of basic things, frankly speaking, just hurts. Number 1, Lost Odyssey. It seems my list videos just cannot get away from this game, but let's talk about the really big moment here in as light of a manner as possible. Lost Odyssey has one infamously sad moment, and this is of course the death of Lirum. During Kaim's travels, he comes across a small hut in a beautiful floral area. In this hut lives a woman, a mother of 2, who, despite living a happy life, yearns to meet her long-lost parents. At the time Kaim discovers her, she is sick, and like Kaim, her memory of the past is obscured. But it all comes back. Moments before she succumbs to her illness, it's revealed that she is Kaim's daughter. Kaim and Lirum share a moment of realization and happiness together, but the truth is only apparent long enough for Lirum to die happily, and with a sense of comfort, knowing that her children will be looked after by a trustworthy grandfather. When the music ramps up, Lirum's eyes close and her children break down in tears. And yeah, this really hits hard. Children dealing with loss always gets me.
Father, there's something I've always wanted to tell you.
I know, Lirum. I know.
I'm glad. So very glad. I can see you once more. Mom?
Lirum! No, don't go. I'll bring Sarah here, I swear. Hang on, Lirum.
Mom! Mom! Mom, no! No! Mom!
And there you have it. 10 moments in gaming that struck me down to a miserable pile of tears. Maybe someday I'll do another one, so don't freak out if I left your choice off the list. I'd also recommend all of these games except for maybe Beyond Two Souls. I liked that game personally, but it's not really a good game in the grand scheme of things. It's good in chunks, but as a whole, not so much. And that's gonna do it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, thank you Patreon for the video suggestion. If you want the video treatment like this, consider supporting the show on Patreon and making recommendations. As always, folks, thanks for watching.